using some goose paper. I'm just going to cut some to a strip. It's good on one side. Trying to be more environmental. And I'm going to do a twist and tape it. And I've made the Möbius Loop. Crazy thing about it is, if I were to examine it and wonder how many sides it has, being at a strip of paper, I might think that it has two sides. 1, 2. If I was a little bit more advanced, I'd think about the infinitely tiny, small side that it has on either of the edges as well. But for the sake of this, I'm going to assume that maybe there might be two sides. So I'm just taking my marker and I'm marking through this side to see if I can mark two sides. But I'm seeing that I'm continuously going through this path. And it just keeps going and going. So the Möbius Loop has one side. Now what if I cut it in half? Will I get 2 rings? No. Something fascinating happens. I get sort of like a twisty loop. So this is a cool little activity to explore different kinds of inquiry approaches that we might take in terms of asking questions, being very open-ended, and being very student-centered or learner-centered with respect to seeing how the learner tries to navigate their understanding around this science or this math that they're about to complete and do. And it allows them to have more accountability for their knowledge because they're co-constructing their ideas, assimilating knowledge to what they know as they're trying to predict the outcomes of what might happen. And then, of course, understanding or making sense of what those results actually are. If it goes against what they had predicted, why is that so, and so on. So just a really nice activity to open up those inquiry or critical thinking lens for a learner. So there's a couple of inquiry approaches that you could take. The first one is the structured inquiry. So I could have provided you with all of the steps to taking this strip of paper and making it into a Möbius loop, and what's the next step in terms of questioning, cutting it in half, what will happen, and so on. That's very structured inquiry, where I'm trying to help structure the questions and the actions that are going along with it. A guided inquiry is where you step a little bit back, but maybe what I might do is just give this piece of paper and guide the learner by saying, make this paper into a continuous loop. And then they have some guidance. They kind of know, okay, what the goal is, and they try to figure out what's the next step with that. Very different than structured, where I would have told them, put the paper together, do a half twist, tape it, cut it down. So that's different than structured. An open inquiry is if I just gave materials, paper, scissors, some tape, and just kind of left it there and instructed the students to, explore. So that would be a very open inquiry, and to see what they might come up with it. And of course, we'd see very many things with that as well. So there's a few different approaches to inquiry. So I hope you enjoyed that activity. I'm enjoying seeing some posts on it. So thank you so much for sharing that. And hopefully you'll use it as well. If you go onto the YouTube channel and just type in Möbius Loop, there's so many fascinating things that people are doing with this. Linking hearts and cutting them in so many different ways. So you can go onto online and explore other what-if questions around the Möbius Loop. And of course, seeing where this is in our everyday. And one of the common places is actually the conveyor belts. So that way both sides are worn out evenly, because if you just had a conveyor belt like that, then only one side would be worn out. But if you had it as a continuous loop, then you would wear out both sides evenly as it's going through the conveyor belt, like at a shopping mall, grocery store, or whatnot. So also exploring where we see this science in our everyday. All right, thanks very much.